Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Pushy by full deck and missing a few cards. If you'd like to try solving this puzzle for yourself, it will be the first link in the description. I will also link you to their website where they have a lot of puzzles that they have made and their university students have made. In addition to that, they have recently started a weekly mailing list. And I will give you a link for you to subscribe to that list as well. All right, with that, let us have a look at the rules for Pushy. Standard Sudoku rules apply, so the digits 1 to 9 must be placed in every row, every column, and every box. Cages. Digits in cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. So those 3 will sum to 14, these 3 will sum to 8. With that, I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. All right, we have some gimmies here. So 2, 3, and 4 must be 7, 8, and 9. That's the only way, 24 must be 7, 8, and 9. That's the only way to fulfill that. 7 must be 1, 2, and 4. 7 over here is 1, 2, and 4. 4 must be 3 and 1, and we know the order because of the 1, 2, 4 in the column. That removes a 1 from there. 23 must be 6, 8, and 9. That's the only way to fill that. So we need a 5 in this row. But I can't put the 5 in the 11 cage, because if I have a 5 in the 11 cage, I would need a 6 to go with it, but the 6 is already allocated in the row. So that's where the 5 goes. Now the 7 in the row must go in the 11 cage, and that goes with a 4 to make 11. So this is a 2, and that is a 1, 4 pair. All right, that's very nice so far. Okay, the 5 cage needs 1, 2, 3, and 4 in it, either 1 and 4 or 2 and 3, but by Sudoku, that is a 3, making this a 2. That eliminates the 2 from there. Okay. So these 2 digits are 5 and 6 for the column. And let's think about our other options. Okay. This is either 1, 9 or 4, 6. Because I can't have a 2 or 3. That gives us a virtual 1, 4 pair in the row. How does 22 work? I either have 5, 8, 9 or is that right? 5, 8, 9 is 23. There's got to be another way to do it. 6, 7, 9. Yeah, 5, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 9. So it has to have a 9 in it, is the important point. That means that this is not 1, 9, but is in fact 4, 6. And now this can't be 6, 7, 9, so that is 5, 8, 9. This is a 1, and this is where the 7 goes in the row. Okay. What's the best place to look now? This 8 cage looks promising. I need to have a 1 in an 8 cage and then 2 digits that add to 7. Because if I don't have a 1 in an 8 cage, I get 2, 3, 4 as the minimum, which is 9. So that has to be a 1, 3, 4 because of the 2 and the 5 already in the column. That can't be a 1 or a 4, so that's a 3. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9, just because of the box, making this 1, 2, 3, or 4, but it can't be 1 or 4. So that is 2 or 3, making this 7 or 8. Okay, this 8 cage needs a 1 in it, but it can't go here. So one of those two is a 1. This 8 cage needs a 1 in it. And again, it can't go there, so one of those two is a 1. And we need a 1, 4 in these 3 cells. This can't be a 1 because I can't put 13 there. We've already eliminated 1 from there, so that's the 1. This can't be a 4 because I can't put a 10 there. So this is the 4, making that a 6. Okay, so that's either 2, 5 or 3, 4. I think that could be either at the moment still. Okay, where's the next place to look? This 9 cage is 3 cells and cannot have a 1 in it, so it must be a 2, 3, 4. That cannot be 2 or 4, so that's 3. That is a 2, 4 pair. So I need 2 and 4 to go into these cells. This can't be a 2 because that would be too big, so this must be a 2. That makes this a 1, 5 pair. 4 could go in there, making that 9, which would make that 9. Or 4 could go in there, making that 7. Still has options, I think. Okay, this 9 cage. I can do 1, 3, 5, which would make this cell a 5. I can't do 1, 3, 5 because that would break this cell. So I now have 1, 2, 6, making this a 1, or 2, 3, 4, putting a 3 in one of those two. So it's either 1 with 2, 6, or 2 or 4 there with a 3 in one of those. 3 in one of those, and the other of 2 or 4. Right. Where is the best place to look next? So 5, 9 or 8, 6 is what goes in the 14 cage. Five, 9 would make that 8. 8, 6 would make that a 5 or 9. This is also 5, 9 or 8, 6. And it has to be the opposite type to this 14 cage because those two cells both see that one. So that is not a 6. We actually have a 5, 8, 9 triple now in this box. So this can't be 2, 5, it must be 3, 4. That makes that 2 and that 4. That eliminates a 4 candidate from there. So these remaining cells in the box are from 1, 2, and 7. And that's not a 2. In fact, that's not a 1. That's a 7. That makes that a 1, 2 pair. So 1 is definitely in one of those two. 1 is definitely in one of those two. That accounts for all of the 1s I expect to place in columns 4 and 5. So that can't be a 1, and that is. Okay. All right. So if that's 1, that's 3, 4. No. If that's 1, those two add up to 8. That's 2, 6. If that's 1, that's 2, 6. If that's 2, that's 3, 4. So there's definitely a 2 in that cage, but I don't think that helps very much. quite think I've got enough to figure that out, other than there's a 9 in the cage somewhere. Okay, where does 7 go in this column? And if that were a 7, these two would need to add up to 5. But I can't do 2, 3, and I can't do 1, 4. So that's not a 7. If that's a 7, that would have to be 6. But 7 is in one of those two, which feels interesting. Where does 1 go in this column? 1 can't go there by sudoku. It can't go there because it would make that too big. So it goes in one of those two. So if that's a 1, this would have to sum to 11, which couldn't be 5, 6. It couldn't be 4, 7, because a 1 here would make that 7. Sorry, a 1 here would make that 4, so it couldn't be 4, 7. So that's 1. So 5, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8. Could it be 3, 8? Don't obviously see why not. And it could be 9, 2. It would have to be 9 here, 2 here. That would be 1. That would be the 2. That's if the 1 is there. Or the 1 is here. Okay. All right. This 14 cage is 3 cells. Well, let's do a little bit of tidying up. That's not a 6. It feels like there's lots of options for that. 3, 4, 7. Oh, it can't be 3, 4, 7. So if there's a 2, then... okay, there is a 2 in this cage, because 2 can't go here, and I need a 2. So I need 2 plus 2 digits for that sum to 12. I'm going to mark that within the box, within the cage, even though it's going across the boxes. I think I'll remember that that's for the 14 cage. In fact, what I can do is mark one of those two as a 2 for the box, because I can't put a 2 here for the 13 cage. So if I've got 2 here, I need 2 digits that add up to 12. Where does 7 go in this column? It either goes there, or it goes in here. If the 7 is in here, then the 7 must go with a 5, and that removes a 5 from here. That makes that 18. That makes this a 3 or a 4. So that makes that 8, 9. 8, 9. Oh, if that's not a 6, then that can't be an 8. Um, this is a little tricky. So that's 589 or 679. I am missing my next deduction, and what is it going to be? Okay, 7 is in one of those two. If that's 7, then 7 is in one of those, and that's a 7. If that's a 7, no, that's not even what I said is true. If that's a 7, 7 is one of those two, that could be 7. Uh, okay, right. That is either 2, 5 or 3, 4, that pair. Now, where do 7, 8, and 9 go in this row? There are only 3 potential, no, there are 4 potential places. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grr, that didn't quite do what I wanted. Right, this either has a 2 or a 4 in it. 2, 5 or 3, 4. So with that, we get a 2, 4 pair. So we can remove 2 and 4 as candidates from there. So if this is 1, this is 6, and this is 2. If this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So I can remove 3 and 6 from there, and that's a 2, 4. That gives me a 2, 4 pair in this row. That's not a 2, and that's a 1, and that's a 4. That makes this a 1. So now these two add up to 11, and they cannot be 5, 6. They cannot be 4, 7. So 3, 8 or 2, 9. This one, 5, I've just realized looks over here and resolves that 1 and 4. This can't be a 4, so this can't be 3. So if that's 3, that's 4, that's 6, and that's 2. and that's 4, and that's 2. That all works. If this is a 2-5 pair, that's 4, that's 2, that's 4, that's 3, that's 2. That all seems to work. Okay. 7 in this goes in one of 3 places. One of those 2 is a 7. All right, so I need 12 more to go in here, in addition to the 2. So 9 and 3. Can't see an obvious reason for not doing that. 8 and 4. Can't see an obvious reason for that being a problem. 5 and 7. Don't see an obvious problem for that either. Where are my high digits going? Right, there's definitely a 2 in one of those 2. So that's not a 2, so that's not 9. This 7 makes that 4, and that's 7. That's probably going to help. Now where does 3 go in this column? Can't go there because of that 3. Can't go there because of that 3, so it goes there. Four can't go there because of this 4, so 4 goes here, making this 9, and we get to start resolving some high digits. Yes, that's correct. So that's 3, 8. That makes that 2. That is not 2. That has to be the 2. This 2 makes this 8. That's not 2. That is not 8. So one of those 2 is 7, making that 7. And then that 7 means that this is 5 and 7. So that's an 8, 9 pair in the column, making this 3 or 4, and that's a 3 because of that 4. So that's 3. That's 4. That's 3. One of those 2 is a 5 because that's not a 5. That's 8, 9. So that's not 5. Okay. If that's 3 or 5, this has to be 4 or 2 and not 5. We've got a 3, 8 pair. This is 6. I now need this to be a 1 and this is a 2. That gives me a 4 and a 2 here. That makes this a 4 and this a 3. This is a 2. This is the only digit left for the box, which is a 9. So that's not 9. This 3 makes this 8, and that 3, that makes that 5. It gives me an 8-9 pair. In fact, the 9 above resolves that. That's 8. That's 9. That's 9. That's a 5 to sum to 14. Not 9. That is not 9 or 5. That's a 6-8, which means that that is a 6-8. And this digit here is a 5, which makes this 6 or 8 to complete the box. This must be 6, and actually that resolves the 6 and the 8. This is 5, making this 7 and this 5. This 6 makes this 8. So that is not an 8. Five, 7, and 9 in this row, so that's where the 5 goes, because there's already a 5 in this box. So that makes that 7 or 9, and that makes that 8, and that's a 7, 9, and 7. We get to place a 6 right there. These two rows should be done with an 8 there and a 9 there. That resolves this column with a 6. That's 9. This is a 7. That's 8. That's 6. We get a 1 and a 5 here from the columns. This is not 5, 8, 9, so it must be 6, 7, 9, which makes this the 8. That's the 7. That's the 6. That's the 9. We need a 6 to complete the box. And then we need a 5 for there. And finally, a 9. That is a lovely puzzle. Little bit tricky. Certainly getting the low digits in seems simple enough, but spotting the right place to get our high digits resolved was a little bit of a struggle, but we got there. I enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed the solve. If you did, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.